Hello everyone. Today I want to share a story not only about sleep, but about consciousness, about what happens when the line between being awake and being alive begins to blur. I live with a condition called narcolepsy. It is a neurological disorder where the brain loses control over the boundary between wakefulness and sleep. For most people, sleep is a choice, but for me, it is an ambush. A sudden collapse of awareness, as if the world just flickers and fades away. When I return, I have to rebuild the moment I lost, the thought I was having, the sentence I was saying, the person I was. That is where my story really began. The story stumbling between wakefulness and sleep. On weekends, my schedule looks perfect. Classes, competition, I plan everything down to the minute. But with narcolepsy, time itself becomes unpredictable. My mornings stretch endlessly like I'm waking up through fog. By the time my family catches up, the world has already started without me. At school, I often wake up mid-lesson, disoriented, my words misplaced. People see distraction, unreliability. They don't see the effort behind just staying awake. I used to be a top student, sharp, fast, curious. Now, my illness feels like an invisible ceiling, and beneath that ceiling, frustration grows. I feel angry at my body, ashamed of my limits, terrified of losing control of who I was. And I began to doubt my own abilities and my dream. Was I just making excuses to my incompetence? Maybe I was always like this. I don't suffer from any so-called illness. Maybe I was just avoiding reality. I often wonder why I was struck by such an invisible and elusive disease. But I can only stay optimistic. I kept fighting. I tried every medication, visited countless hospitals, chasing something that never came. And when nothing worked, a darker thought appeared. What if I don't really have this illness? What if I'm just making excuse to escape reality? The question shattered me. Because once you stop trusting your own body, the home inside yourself was lose the trust. And when teachers thought I wasn't listening, and my friends thought I wasn't trying, I began to believe them. Psychologists call this a theory, self-fulfilling prophecy. When the story others tell about you slowly becomes the story you live. And the moment when I fell asleep, embarrassing, public, unforgettable, outweighed every quiet success. And the moment when I fell asleep, it also another series happened. It is the availability heuristic at work. Our minds cling to pain and let go of progress. So I live in a loop. These two forces, the heuristic and the prophecy, pulling me under each time when I began to rise. Each awakening carries the memory of failures. Each fall carries the faint hope of renewal, of learning to affirm myself, only to fall again. And in that fall, finding another reason to get back up. This must be it must be broken. This must be diffused. It is a war waged within myself. My turning point wasn't a victory, it was a surrender. I stopped trying to conquer my body and began to listen to it. I studied in a short burst, rested when I needed, forgave myself when I couldn't keep up. I stopped treating myself as a problem to face and treating myself as a person to understand. And in that understanding, something changed. I discovered a quiet kind of strength, not the kind that forces you to stay awake, but the kind that helps you return, no matter how many times you fall. That is when I realized awakening isn't the opposite of sleep. It is the willingness to begin again, to meet yourself where you are, even when it's not where you wish to be. And once I understood that, life itself began to feel different. Maybe life is not meant to be smooth, unbroken line. Everyone has their own shortcomings and things they need to face and overcome in their lifetime. The meaning of life is to live a wonderful life despite the hardships. Maybe life isn't meant to be smooth, unbroken. Maybe it's meant to be a rhythm, a series of awakening. Each one asking the same question, will you come back? And I want to say, we are not the stories others tell about us. We are not our exalted days. We are the quiet strings that keep returning. We are the stillness that remains when everything else fades. And if one day you meet a version of yourself you thought was lost, the version that was alive, curious, unafraid, don't turn away and look gently, say, welcome back to life. Thank you.